Would you like to live your best life possible, regardless of your imperfections? Discover cutting-edge tools and inspiration to let go of your limitations and expand your life beyond what you've ever imagined. On Imperfect Brilliance, we help you tap into your unique gifts and talents, uncovering and letting your brilliance shine. Join certified facilitator and coach Betsy McLoughlin as she delves into different areas of your life to get unstuck and create the life that is truly possible for you. Betsy has changed her life by utilizing the tools and techniques she is sharing with you. What if your willingness to acknowledge your brilliance is the catalyst to creating a new reality? When you stop judging you, what else can you create in your life and in the world? Join Betsy live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern to create magical and joyous possibilities for an hour of laughs, questions, tips, and more. We are excited to contribute and play with you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Imperfect Brilliance. I am your host, Betsy McLoughlin, and today is a different show. When I always look and talk with my team about what does the show desire, require, what would it like to create, who would like to hear about what topics, which, we always just follow the energy and we never really know where it's going to go. And of course, some of it we work around somebody's schedule, if there's going to be a guest on, et cetera, et cetera. And so one of the things that I would love to do is take the time right now to invite you, please. You are always welcome to call into the show. If you happen to be listening live, we are normally on live at 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, which is 3 p.m. Pacific time. And then, obviously, if you live in other parts of the world, you'd have to translate that to where you are. But we're happy to have you call in, ask your questions, and see what I can contribute to you. So if you happen to be listening live right now, you are welcome to call in. It's area code 202-570-7057. And if you can't listen live and you still have a subject you would like me to talk about or you have questions, please do message me. I'm on Facebook. You can email me at accessbetsy@gmail.com. You can Skype me. You can find me from my website. There's a ton of different ways you can find me and reach out, which people do all the time, and I'm so grateful for that. When you have the medium of radio, you're never really sure. Is anybody listening? Or, you don't have the direct feedback like you do if you're in front of an audience. So I really appreciate you guys letting me know what you would like to talk about, because without you, I wouldn't be doing this show. And I'm super, super grateful for you guys. Truly, I am. I have done this radio show in a couple of different variations for several years now. I started on a different show, and I had a co-host, Sadie Lake, and then we added the wonderful Kathy Williams, and it was the three of us for a while, and then we moved over here to the OMTimes radio platform, and Kathy and I were on the show together for quite a while, and Kathy now has her own show on OMTimes, and so as things, the topic of the show today is undefined, and I truly have no idea exactly where this call is going to go, this show is going to go. I just did a series called Undefined, and it was a 3-part series, which was really amazing where we went and all the different areas in our life that we really do have definitions and parameters and conclusions about things. And one of the things that I love about facilitating is that I learn and grow and change right along with everyone else. And it was really fun to see all the different places where we really do have definitions, even places where we think we don't. So, like I said, the topic for today is undefined. So I don't know where I'm going to go, and if anybody calls in, what their questions will be. And I do have a couple of people who sent me messages who couldn't be on live but did ask me to talk about things. So we'll follow the energy and see where we go. So I ask you, what if you were undefinable? And that is such a different place to be, because we all have so many roles in our life. You know, you could be a mother, a father, a teacher, a principal, a parent, a lover, a husband, a wife. You're an employee or an employer, or you're your own boss. You're tall, you're short, you're black, you're white, you're fat, you're thin. Like, there's so many things that we have defined ourselves as. And I wonder, you know, everywhere that we have defined ourselves as something, what does that stop us from actually being? So if you've listened to this show at all, you know that I ask a lot of questions. And I have guests on, and we ask questions. I encourage you guys to ask your own questions. And from these questions, things will start unraveling and changing in your life, and you will see places where perhaps you didn't even realize that you had conclusions. I've also done I've also had a lot of conversations with people around conclusions, and truly, where have definitions and conclusions stopped you? And where have those definitions defined you so that you don't look beyond those definitions? So if you came into the world as a woman and you have defined yourself as a woman, what does that even mean to you? So this conversation today is about definitions, a lot of it. And one of my favorite questions to ask on this topic is, if you were inventing yourself today, who would you be? If you were inventing yourself today, who would you be? So play with the energy of that. And what does that bring up for you? And then, do you feel like you have to defend against what you would like to invent yourself as? So how much time have we all spent defending ourselves and defending what we've decided? And how many ways have we bent? Have we stapled? Have we folded ourselves to fit into that definition? Have you asked, how can I make this work for me? Not, how do I change me for people to be happy with me? So you see the difference there? In any situation, how do you make it work for you? So how do you invent yourself today that would work for you? Being the undefinable space that you truly are, that probably for most of your life you haven't been allowed to be, or even ask this question or explore this topic. So if you were truly redefining everything about you and your life and what you would like to create, and you got rid of all of your parameters, and I even just tap into the energy of what that is, getting rid of those parameters, and I just felt my body kind of melt. So as we remove the chains, the parameters, the boxes, however you'd like to say that that you've put around yourself? And how many chains, how many boxes, how many parameters have you put around you? And if you start removing all of those and you look at who you truly are, the joyful, carefree spirit that we all came into this world with, that through various things, experiences in our lives, maybe it's been beat down a little bit, or you've hidden it. So would you be willing to allow that beautiful, carefree spirit to start showing yourself again? Oh, and what would that create for you? So if you didn't have to spend time defending who you are, and you truly were just you, how much fun could you have? What would you do? What would you create? Where would you go? Who would you play with? How much fun would you have? How much joy in every second of every day would you start choosing? And would you like to have more fun by choosing to be an undefined being who has infinite choice and infinite possibility? I'm going to choose way more of that. Yes, please. Absolutely. And if you're thinking that you don't know how, what if you didn't have to know how? What if you just started choosing? And you took a step, and then you took another step, and you took another step, and you went nowhere near in a straight line. It was totally a zigzag course. And you might look behind you, and you might look below you, and you have no idea, but you just keep going and playing and experimenting. One of the things that I do like to talk about is looking at kids. They don't spend a lot of time figuring out how, they just do. And they can be some of our greatest teachers. When a kid is first learning how to walk, and they're running around like little wobbly weebles, just wobbling around, and they fall over and they get back up. And they're not really trying to figure out how to do it. They're just doing it. Yeah, there is some figuring it out, but they don't stop and immobilize themselves and get bogged down in the how. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Have you ever paralyzed yourself trying to figure out how you're going to do something? Okay, I have both hands raised right now. Of course, you can't see me because it's radio, but yes, I have definitely done that. Where I have tried to plot things out, to have everything just right, just perfect, just so. And if it wasn't that way, then I didn't do it. Because, and then I can fill in a variety of reasons why, and because, I got to have it right. I got to do this. I got to do that. People have expectations. I have my own expectations, whatever it is for you. So everywhere that you have paralyzed yourself into making any choice because you haven't figured out how to do it, would you like to choose something different now? Yes, please. Yes, please, for me too. And I look at all the places in my life where I have defined things, and I still define things. And then I look at all the places where I have jumped and I've leapt and I've had no idea what it was going to look like, where I was going to land. I just knew I had to do it. The radio show was one of them. Like, I was invited to do the show with Sadie, and I was like, wow, that's so cool, yes. And I left. I had no idea. And if you told me that I would still be doing the show, I think it's 5 years, 6 years later, I would have said, I don't think so. And here I am. And I'm asking questions all the time. Is it still fun to do? Absolutely. Do people enjoy it? Absolutely. Okay, cool. Then I will do it. And I really go to undefining all of my expectations of what it is, what it might bring in, who it might attract, and all the reasons that I'm doing it, blah, blah, blah. And I go and I undefine it. And then when I've undefined that space, it opens up so much more for me. It opens up more possibilities. So with that, all of the definitions, the conclusions, the judgments, the viewpoints, the limitations that you have made around any subject, and you can fill in the blank for whatever that is. What would you like to choose now? What can you be or do to change things? To become more conscious, to become you, the you that you truly are. And this, my friends, is not linear. Like I said before, it's not one step in front of the other, necessarily a straight line. It might be all over the place. And is that okay? It's okay with me. And that's part of the fun of the journey. Just like the example of the kid that I've used before. You know, they get up, they laugh, they giggle, they may have a couple of tears, and they just get up and do it again and again and again until they're no longer wobbling, and then they're running, and then we can't keep up with them. So here's our first break, you guys. Thank you so much for being with me today in this undefined conversation. We'll be back soon.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM-FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers, pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm going to return the kayak.
Can we walk home?
How about a taxi?
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for listening to Imperfect Brilliance. I'm Betsy McLoughlin, your host here for this hour, and we are talking about being undefined today. And I invite you to visit my website, creatingyumminess.com. It recently had an overhaul, and of course, as always, websites are a work in progress. But it's super fun. I love the platform, and we're having a great time creating it. So you guys are welcome to check it out. I do have some courses coming up as well. We just finished the Undefined 3-part telecall that actually kind of inspired this show today. And if you're interested in that, you can certainly still purchase it. Just give me a buzz at accessbetsy@gmail.com. You can find my upcoming classes at my website, creatingyumminess.com, or you can also find me at the Access Consciousness website, where I have actually this weekend, I'm teaching an energetic faceless class, and I've got Access Bars classes coming up, some foundation classes coming up, and I would love to talk to you if you would like to host me in your area. I teach so many different classes. I can teach the foundation class. I'm also a Joy of Business certified facilitator, so I can teach a lot of different courses on business and money. And I'm also a Being You certified facilitator. So like I said, a myriad of classes, and I can also create something for you. So feel free to reach out to myself and my team, and we'd love to talk to you about creating possibilities, whether it's online or in person. I will travel. I'm based in the United States, but I will travel anywhere. So feel free to reach out to me, and I look forward to hearing from you. So, great. Thank you so much. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was, and then I've got a caller on the line. So just to wrap up what we were talking about right before the break about a kid and all the dreams that you had when you were a kid about what was possible. And what if you didn't have to give up those dreams anymore? And what if you could actually have those as your reality? And what if they didn't show up because you gave up on them? Because they didn't show up as if you thought they would, as you had defined that they would show up. So if you start looking at that and asking that question, and you've undefined, which is our conversation today, you've undefined that, then what could actually show up? So that's a little bit of food for thought about possible, what else truly, truly is possible. And one of the commercials while we were listening was the person talked about the field of possibilities, and I love that. So what are your field of possibilities that you've not even been willing to ask for because you thought you couldn't? So if you undefine everywhere where you think that you can't ask for something, then what else truly could show up for you? And what questions could you ask for things to start actualizing maybe differently than what you've defined them as? And are you willing for it to show up differently? So part of this conversation that we kind of have on an ongoing basis is the willingness. So are you willing to ask these questions? Are you willing to explore different possibilities? So this field of possibilities with, just imagine a field full of poppies, beautiful poppy flowers, for instance. How many different poppies are laying in front of you that you've not even seen, stopped to look at because you have decided that they don't exist? So with that question, I'm going to leave that there for you kind of just to ponder a little bit and welcome my guest, Lily. Welcome, Lily.
Hi. Hi, Betsy. How are you?
Hello. I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing awesome.
Yay. Thanks for calling. So what can I contribute to you?
First off, thank you so much for this. This is really, really cool to listen to and be able to hear. And feel like at the same time I can now hear it, which is really cool. So yeah, that poppy analogy is really, really cool, and it's cool to look at how many possibilities and how many poppies we have that are just itty bitty little sprouts there that have just been planted from the dying poppies that are blowing their seeds away, and how many seeds come from just one poppy.
Absolutely. I love that question. So yeah, I was just curious about like undefining, like the possibilities of undefined, like being undefinably present with yourself and with everything around you. What a great question. So what does being present mean for you?
What does being what mean?
You asked about being undefined presence. So I'm wondering, what does a defined presence mean for you?
Oh, like kind of like whenever you sit there and you have to consciously try and be present, and you're like, okay, everything is like in order, everything's squared away. The word present fits into the box, and that means I'm present.
Okay, you cut out for a minute, so you said the word presence, and then say it again.
The word presence, like how it kind of fits into your own little box.
Okay. So what would happen if you were willing to undefine what you have decided being present is and your presence?
That would be really cool. I think I might just be too potent.
Oh, so even that though, like where have you defined, what have you defined being too potent as?
Oh, that's a thing.
So in that, like, so you've got these definitions going on, right? And we all have them. So you have what you're defining being present at and what you're being present. And then you've got your definition of potency. So earlier in the show, I talked about how many chains do you have? And so how many chains do you have around you because you've decided that you can't be too potent, you can't have too much presence because, and then, fill in the blank of a million different reasons why. So you don't allow yourself to even be that or go there.
Yeah. Really
so
cool.
would you be willing to really get rid of those chains and all of the definitions and the box that you've put these definitions in, and be willing to step outside and explore what that is for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So when I ask you this question again, what is potency for you? What comes in?
You there?
Nope. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay, so I ask you this question again. What does potency mean to you?
It means being undefined, which is really interesting.
Oh, that's great. So if you were willing to be undefined, what would your life sense like?
It would, honestly, it would just be this undefined ease, joy, and glory. It'd be just space, and every 10 seconds you're choosing doesn't work for me. And it's kind of like that that you asked earlier about I forgot it. But I had it. It was there.
So if you have an undefined space and your life was really easy and you allowed yourself to be everything that you be, like everything, and you don't have chains around you, what truly would be possible then?
Cool. Giant space.
So from that, I'm sorry, say that again?
Oh, my earbuds are acting a little wonky and they're kind of cutting out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, they are. You were cutting a little bit. Okay. Did you just say something?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Now I can.
Awesome. Now I can hear you. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So I was saying that the space that we just created feels very expansive. And
yeah.
Do you sense a difference in how you are viewing your potency?
Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely just being that space brings you more present. Brings me more present, at least.
Mhm. And so if you didn't have to think about your presence and your potency, your power, your intelligence, your place in the world, and all of these other things, and you simply allowed yourself to be and encompass everything you be, everything you don't even know that you are, and more. And it's like this, almost like an avalanche of, where it's coming down the mountain, and it's gathering steam and it's going faster and faster and getting bigger and bigger, like the big snowball that comes down the mountain and just keeps gathering snow. What if that's you? What if that's you just gathering bigger and bigger, but it doesn't actually ever end. So you don't have like the end of a mountain. It just keeps going.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
I like that a lot. It's like, oh, my whole body is getting really excited thinking about that and looking at that for all of us. So for everybody listening, let's all just drop our barriers, really lower any resistance that you might be having to this conversation or the word potency or the word presence or power or whatever you might be resisting against right now. And what if you just lowered them all? And you don't have to think about it. You just do it. As soon as I said lower your barriers, I could sense most people's barriers just went whoop, down. So in that dropping of your barriers and asking for your space to increase and be bigger than whatever you've allowed it to be before, and to be more powerful and more potent and more here, present, right here, right now with the universe and who you are and everything you desire to create, everything that's asking to be born, everything you know, and you ask all of that to contribute to you, and you pull it all to you and through you, and you ask the universe to conspire to contribute to your greatness, your potency, your brilliance. Whew, it's getting really hot over here. And from that, it's unlimited. That field of poppies the analogy that I used before, it's like, shoo, right? It's unlimited, the poppies that you could choose from.
Definitely, that's cool.
So will you allow you to be more than you've ever allowed you to be before?
Definitely.
Awesome. Wow. What a great question. Thank you so much. And then what else can I contribute to you?
Honestly, this entire conversation, I've been walking outside. So first off, sorry for any background noise. And it's just been really, really cool to notice how we all interact with the earth and how the earth contributes, how the earth in and of itself is undefined.
Yes, truly, truly is. And, so many times we try to go to define it, and then, Mother Nature will show us that she truly is undefined. And, how do you define in one day? Recently we had, like 40-degree temperature drop in one day, and how do you define all of the things that she creates? And yes, like scientists and things, we do try to go to figuring it out all the time. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all, but what if we really could just enjoy everything that we be and everything we create without having to understand it all? Because when we go up in our minds and we're trying to figure it all out, are we being what you asked for earlier, Lily? Are we being present? Or are we distracting ourselves from, our brain and trying to figure things out?
Yeah. Even with just like as I watch people clear, because I'm in Utah, so the leaves are all falling off the trees, and it's getting to that point where it's going to start snowing soon, probably. Unless Mother Nature decides that she's going to stop snowing after our 3 snowstorms in October. And it's interesting as I watch people clear off these leaves, and people kind of make them into these nice little neat piles. And then I take my dog on a walk, and the two of us sit there and on the leaves that aren't already crunched, or on the leaves that aren't already in piles, we sit there and we run through them and kick them at each other and just play and stomp on them and listen to the crunch underneath our feet as the wind goes by and the birds are in the air, and it's just really cool.
Yeah. Well, even the example of the wind, the wind will come and it goes all kinds of different directions. There's no definition of which way the wind's going to blow. So everywhere that we've tried to define which way the wind's going to blow in our own lives, what can we choose now? And I love that. I love that analogy of nature, bringing nature in. And you're outside, and nature's contributing to this conversation right now. Thank you so much for that.
Definitely. And it's really cool how the universe just kind of conspires for us and conspires in that wind. Like the wind may blow us into like the middle of the street, and we're like, why are we here? All my friends are over there. And then all of a sudden the wind sits there and takes us to someplace greater.
Totally. It truly does. And the universe does conspire to contribute to us. And so I wonder, how much more undefined we can be and allow the universe to contribute far greater than we ever have so far.
Definitely.
And it's time for our second break, so hang on, guys. Listen to Imperfect Brilliance. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. We're having an amazing conversation today about being undefined. Stay tuned.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM. Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living, a chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo. Do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Imperfect Alliance. I am your host for this hour, Betsy McLoughlin, and I am having a really cool conversation today about being undefined. And I had a question that I wanted to answer from somebody who wanted me to talk a little bit about creating from consciousness and how to be that expansive invitation. And we kind of started diving into that. I've got Lily who called in. I think she's still on the line. And we started diving in on that before the break. And I just wanted to bring that a little bit more into the conversation. And I would love to actually undefine everything that we might be thinking creating from consciousness is. So, like, okay, I can hear everybody's minds kind of going, what? All right, so what do you define consciousness as? And if you didn't have any definition about what it is, then what would that create for you? And it's not from trying to make anybody wrong with that question. It's just to look at everywhere where we might have definitions or parameters around things. And then where do the parameters stop us that we don't even know are stopping ourselves? So what does consciousness, and it's going to look different for everybody. You know, what does consciousness look like for you, Lily? What does it look like for me? What does it look like for your mother, or for your father, or for your sister, for your brother? What does that mean? And it can mean something different every day.
It really can. That's really, really amazing.
Yeah. So if you get rid of your definition of what creating from consciousness is, and you remove those shackles that we've talked about quite a bit today, and
yeah,
you look,
definitely.
right? And then the other part of that question that she asked was how to be the expansive invitation. And my question on that, one of the first things that popped in as I'm reading that is, you know, maybe she already is. And so where is she defined herself that she's not? So with that, like, again, what does being an expansive invitation mean to you? And what if you're way more of an invitation than you've already ever even defined yourself as? So being you, what if being you is the expansive invitation? And it is that expansive invitation, and you are creating from consciousness. Say what? So I just kind of would love for you to play a little bit more with that question, and then let me know how that is in your world. And I really appreciate that question too, because it's, so many people really do desire to create more consciousness in the world. And what does that mean? Everybody's going to have a different definition of what that is. If I ask you, Lily, for instance, to tell me what that is for you, can you even tell me what that is?
Honestly, it's almost hard to put into words. It's like, it's this, it's a little bit of this, and it's a little bit of that, and a bit of this and that. And it's just like,
right. Yeah.
It's this energy.
Right. And so it's Have you ever seen Mercury and tried it, like it's fallen and you're actually trying to pick it up? Now, when I was in high school, somebody dropped some mercury one time, and back then, like, we didn't realize, now they probably clear schools out if that happens, but back then we would try to pick it up and we put it, and the pieces kind of go everywhere and you can't really pick it up. And that's kind of what I started seeing when you're looking to grab onto a piece of it and define what it is. So you can get a little piece of it, but you're only going to get a little piece. And there's so much more. So if you're focused on a small piece of it, how much of the big picture are you not even seeing? So being the expansive invitation for everything you desire to create and be in this world and beyond, what if you already are that? What if you are way, 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 way more of it than you've ever acknowledged? And I do love that we're bringing in the piece of acknowledgement into this conversation, because I know that's one piece for myself and a lot of my clients where we don't really do a whole lot of acknowledgement for ourselves. We're really good at seeing what everybody else, their gifts and their capacities, their talents. What if you were willing to undefine everything about that you've decided is great about you? Ooh, say what? I'm really pushing the parameters here today. So really, I'm going to, since you're still on the line, I would love to ask you, would you be willing to lower your barriers and acknowledge the greatness of you more than you ever have so far?
Yeah, and it's funny because whenever you asked me that, I instantly went to, and I can acknowledge my dog too because I'm walking her, and I'm just like, wait, this is about acknowledging me.
Right. Yeah. So that, and thank you for, saying that, because that's what we're so used to doing, deflection. Somebody compliments you on your haircut or your new dress, and then you go to, well, thanks, but, I got it on sale, or, this old thing, or, whatever it is that we do where we'll deflect. So I'm going to ask you again then, would you be willing to acknowledge the greatness of you far greater than you've ever been willing to acknowledge so far?
Yep. 100%.
Awesome. Yay! And see how much easier it was that time?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So, how does that feel for you to actually lower your barriers and acknowledge that?
Yeah, it definitely creates a lot more and a lot more space. And it's that whole energetic thing again.
So in that energetic space that you are feeling more expansive, now what?
Now there's a whole world of possibilities.
Yes. Yeah. And so you've got multiple doors or windows that you could open and go through. And it's not just a narrow corridor where you're walking down this corridor and all the doors are closed. And so undefining even just this one place in your life where you've been unwilling to acknowledge your greatness, your beauty, your talents, your capacities, so that you haven't. And then when we do that, we tend to not ask what else we could actually learn, what else we could actually create, what else we could change in the world, where else we could contribute to people, to the planet, to projects, because we can focus on the lack and what we really can't do. And so acknowledging your greatness, what if that is actually part of your potency that we talked about a little earlier?
Yeah. And part of that, I think, is also acknowledging what works for you and then what doesn't.
Yep. And so what if you could be totally limitless, not limited, but limitless, and create things magically and mysteriously?
Yeah.
Woo-wee. And if you were actually at ease with being limitless, you could do and be and have, create and generate anything, and everything. So would you like to choose that? Would you like to ask for that? Would you like to create that?
I don't know about anybody else, but I definitely would.
Well, we'll let you be the spokesperson for everybody listening then too. And we're gonna say yes for them too. And I'll say yes for myself as well. So what could we exponentialize by being willing to create and generate and step into this ease with being limitless, and what you've created and generated and actualized? And what if this is just the beginning, you guys? What if this is just the beginning of your journey into you, into your greatness, into everything that you would like to create in this world, for this planet, for your life, for your family, for future generations? And everywhere that you think that you're just one person and you don't make a difference, I would love for you to actually talk to 5 people in your life and ask them to give you, like, either tell you or write down. It's kind of fun to have people write it down. Write down 5 things about you that they love, that they see, that they think are part of your greatness. And I bet it'll blow you away what other people see in you.
Definitely.
I would love for you guys to actually play with that and see, from that, like, really read or, embrace and hear what people are telling you that they see in you. And acknowledge that greatness and write it down for yourself too. What do you see about you that you acknowledge as part of your greatness and your potency? And how could you turn that up even more? And turn it up and turn it up and turn it up and turn it up and turn it up. We've spent so much time dialing down our buttons, dialing down our potency, dialing down our gifts and capacities. And now's the time, my friends, really, truly, to be all of you, be all you can be, and to turn it up. Turn that volume all the way up. Go Go play in the leaves and crunch with Lily and her dog and blow with the wind and have it go in all kinds of different directions and have it make no sense to anybody. It can make no sense to you too. And would you be willing to actually play with that? And what else? And, keep asking too, what else? What else would you like to add to your life? What else could you ask? And opportunities show up all the time. And so what if even for opportunities and possibilities, you undefine them? Thank you so much, Lily, for playing with me and everybody else for listening. I had a wonderful time undefining things today. Come back next week. Thanks, Lily.
Of course. Bye.
Bye-bye.